Hey guys, Dan here with Battlefield Curator. I'm here with Andy Steinel, and we're in beautiful Twinsburg, Ohio at the Steinel Ammunition Factory. Tell us what you do here.
We load ammunition. We develop, test, and assemble ammunition for self-defense, hunting, and Milsurp applications.
Let's go take a tour and see the intricacies of what it takes to get this ammunition to the customer.
The vast majority of what we do is metallic centerfire. So you have 4 components to a cartridge. You've got the case, projectile, powder, and primers. So we develop loads using each of those, oftentimes pressure test, and develop a cartridge that works well for the application, whether it's hunting or an old Milsurp gun. Like in this case, it's a modern bullet, jacketed hollow point, but loaded to a pressure that's safe for Trapdoor Springfields. 4570 has different pressure levels, 3 of them specifically, and if you load for modern pressures, you can damage older guns. And here's the finished product. In this case, 300 grain jacketed hollow point, safe for Trapdoor Springfield. In this case, these are also Trapdoor Safe. This is a 500 grain round nose, and these 2 are coated to prevent fouling in the barrel. And so you're not, handling raw lead. In this case, this is a 500 grain round nose flat point, so this will fit in a Trapdoor Springfield or in a lever gun. And this one just happens to be subsonic as well for guys that like to shoot their lever guns with suppressors.
All right, looks like we got some 38-200. Can you tell us more about this setup that you have here?
Yeah, this is a Dillon 1100 progressive press. It's one of the main presses that we use, whether it's automated or manual hand drive. Each crank of the handle will perform one operation depending on what's on the tool head. In this case, we're doing some expanding. Next station is priming, dispensing powder, dropping a projectile, seating the projectile, and crimping the case. We've done our powder checks, so we know everything's good. We've recently checked overall length, primer seating depth, and a few other things, but this is the operation. So I'll just manually throw a bullet on this one. You got a completed cartridge.
All right, awesome. So why did you actually get into reloading for military surplus on a larger scale?
Well, Milsurp, to me is the most interesting ammunition. There's history. It's not your ubiquitous, commodity ammo. It's actually got some, there's interesting stories behind it. Kind of, made the country what it is, and every other country that had to, fight a war, which is all of them. They use these interesting weapons. When you show up to the range with something different and interesting, it's just more enjoyable to shoot than just kind of throwing random commodity rounds downrange, to me at least.
So I noticed this press here. Well, can you tell me more about that?
Yeah, this is a turret press, so it's less efficient, certainly, for production than the others, but it's really nice. It's got this handy tool head that indexes, and you can utilize different dies efficiently, so it's excellent for load development. Right now we actually have part of a hardness tester on here, so we can place a cast projectile on here, flatten the top a little bit, and then run it through a special die, and it'll tell us the Brinell hardness of that projectile. So this is a universal receiver with interchangeable pressure barrels that we use for pressure testing. So the way it works is you have a thick, beefy barrel here that has a hole drilled through the top and that's tapped to receive a pressure sensor. So the pressure sensor mirrors the chamber walls so that it can measure just how much the brass obturates, and then that creates a signal that then feeds into a signal amplifier and goes into our AILR system, and our laptop then shows a pressure curve and gives a lot of useful information for how that round performed. Peak pressure, the time that it took to get there, and then also velocity as well. We've got velocity screens over here that the bullet travels through to give us a pretty accurate velocity. So we're pressure testing Trapdoor 4570 right now. So 300 grain jacketed hollow point, around 1,300 feet per second out of an 18-inch barrel. 5 shot. We're averaging about 18,000 PSI, a little higher, which is where you want to be. And the standard deviation of pressure is only 392 PSI, which is very good.
Last shot.
Yeah, it makes a huge difference. You're able to try, any combination that you can think of. Not only what's in loading manuals, but you can think outside of the box a little bit if necessary. During COVID, it was instrumental in keeping us going. Without it, we probably couldn't have kept going. So, knowing the actual pressures that your rounds are putting out is invaluable. And here's some of the weapons that we use for testing. Here's 455 Webley brake top. So this particular one is shaved, so it can accommodate the 45 auto rim that we make, or we could use moon clips and shoot 45 ACP. But we pressure test the 45 ACP to make sure it's safe for this. We try to keep it around 12,000 PSI. Here's a 1935 S for 7.65 French long. One of my favorites is a Type 14 Nambu. Here's one of our more recent acquisitions is a BFR chambered in 475 line ball. So we'll test and do load development for our 480 Ruger and 475 line ball. And it's no coincidence that I've got these nearby. We kind of fall into a unique size, I would say. We're not in the basement. We're not that small. Well, we started there, but we're also certainly not a Hornady or a Winchester. So, or Federal. So 10,000 square feet accommodates quite a few machines. We actually have some room in the back to expand. The larger guys generally do everything just in larger scale. So they use plate loaders. They use just equipment that runs a lot faster. So we're doing things on 1050s, Dillon 1050s, 1100s. We have a couple Hornadies that we use, a shotgun press progressive that we use for our slugs. So things are done in smaller batches and with a little bit more care, more attention. We'll enter a lot of markets where the cartridge is probably too small for the tooling required, and maybe the market's just too small in general for the big guys to attack. We generally gravitate around there, or we'll do something just different, maybe a unique bullet weight or a particularly high-end projectile. We do a lot of solid copper hollow points, things of that nature. We do a lot of Milsurp, like I mentioned earlier. We also do the modern ammo, hunting ammo, self-defense ammo. For example, this is set up for 454 Casull. This is 45 auto rim for the shaved Webleys. It's a low pressure round. And then here's 458 SOCOM. We're currently changing this over from a Hornady FTX to a Maker solid copper hollow point.
All right, after all the cartridges are put together, what happens next?
Goes to inspection and packaging. Right now, this is the tail end of the packaging. Right now, Jared here is putting product labels on 7.7 Arisaka 174 grain FMJs.
Some guys are trying to find ammo for their military surplus weapons, and they realize that a lot of this is really expensive. So why the high prices on some of these ammo?
Yeah, it comes down to component cost, really. So the guys that are making the components, the cases, projectiles, a lot of times it's not, they're not fast movers for them, so they have to price it accordingly. They've got to do changeovers. They've got to invest in resources for each batch. So if it's not something they're making a lot of, obviously the economies of scale are not there, so they have to charge accordingly. Inflation certainly hurts. Powder right now is up quite a bit. Primers have started to settle down, thankfully. That was a nightmare during kind of the post-COVID period. Projectiles are relatively stable. Cases depends on what it is. Again, if it's a small batch from the manufacturer versus something that's being cranked out like 5.56 all the time, 9mm. A lot of instances we're paying close to $1 a case for some cartridge cases, so that's obviously going to drive up the price. but the quality is there. You know, the extra attention to detail, making them in small batches and making frequent batch checks. On the website, you can see we've got, you know, I'm not sure how many thousands of reviews, but a lot of site reviews describing the experience, but a lot of product reviews for different categories, Milsurp, self-defense, hunting. So guys talking about their experiences and what they like about the ammo.
So where can people find you? Where can they find your ammunition, social media, stuff like that?
Best place is the website, steinelammo.com. Just go to the navigation menu at the top and see if there's any cartridges that you're looking for.
All right, there you have it. Andy Steinel, thank you so much for having us over. Go check them out on their website. Go check them out on social media. Look out for those new load developments. If you have those old military surplus weapons that you just can't find ammo for, they probably got it on their website. And as I always like to say, be sure to learn history and curate history. Pulverize the like button. Subscribe if you haven't. Make it a great day.